Hi everyone, it's Az here from HeelvsBabyface. You saw the Battle of Helm's Deep in the Two Towers and the way that Peter Jackson decided to give his interpretation of it. It was a wonderful, wonderful battle that of course culminated with the arrival of Gandalf the White. Well, be prepared for the Battle of Balls Deep for episode 6 of Rings of Power. Because let's face it, I think we all got in this episode. I actually thought, because this was the episode that was going to have the battles, the fighting, I actually thought this is, even though, you know, cards on the table, you know that I don't like the show. So far, this show's been abysmal. The characters are terrible. The writing is appalling, etc. But I still try and have to be as objective as possible. I mean, you know, I know it's subjective, but you know what I mean. So I thought with this episode having the battles, the fights, this is the one that could have actually been half decent. But, you know, could have been half decent. The choreography, the way that they decide to do the fighting, the tension, yada, yada, yada. And no, no, we get stupidity. We get, as you'll soon see, a nighttime that's so black that it feels like the Battle of Winterfell in the final season of Game of Thrones. Now we know that Bezos wanted his Game of Thrones on Amazon, but this is something else. So you can't see stuff which happens. You have girl bosses just being girl bosses while all the men are pathetic. It was the most intersectional battle I've ever seen. And it was pathetic. It was pathetic. So let's get into it, shall we? Because I'm sure you're all chomping at the bit to say, wow, show us the way, Az. So can you make out what that is? I can barely. It's a gauntlet. It's a Dar's gauntlet, and he's planting seeds because apparently elves plant seeds before they go into battle, so that something can grow out of depth. Good. All right, moving on. Let's move on. It doesn't make sense at all, by the way, for Adar, but there you go. The orcs are moving on to the tower, the outpost, and Adar, who I'm now going to call from here on in Adar or Adar, I don't care, I'm calling him Adar, the inclusive, because he talks about rights for male and female orcs. My inclusive brothers and sisters in orcdom. Oh my goodness, today's going to be a 3-monster ripper day. I had to tell you that for nothing. I laughed and it was boring, obviously. So they walk to the tower, which again, you can barely make out, but it's nighttime. I know it's nighttime. Bring out the moon or something to give some light, because not being able to make out your crappy CGI or whatever it is that you're trying to hide just makes this terrible to look at from a visual standpoint. Didn't they learn that from Game of Thrones episode 4 where you couldn't see jack shit? But here we are, I guess. So they just walk into the tower and nobody's there. I mean, why would you want to defend a fortified position where they have to bottleneck themselves on the bridges going into it, which gives you the opportunity to do all sorts of little things to slow them down, to pile up the bodies, to make it more difficult? No, they decided to abandon the tower so that they could defend their fucking crappy village down the street. And it is now apparently down the street as we'll see later. So they go into the tower, the orcs and Adar, and the humans that gave up. But oh my god, there's a Trixie Poos that you can barely see. And the Trixie Poos is Don Lemonlass has fires an arrow which burns the support around the tower, which makes the tower then kicks down a bit of stone, and then the tower falls down on top of about 10 orcs. You can't make out how many get wiped out. Adar's just standing there, and he don't give no shits. He don't even get hit. And then the villagers, if I just move this on a wee bit, the villagers are there, right by the tower, cheering on with their lanterns, which the orcs didn't see at all. So the orcs, which are just still, there's plenty alive, decide, no, we won't go chasing the villagers who have shown us exactly where they are and where they're going to defend. An open village made up of wood and thatch that totes doesn't burn. Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. The tiny ships are meant to house garrisons of troops, 300 of them, plus cavalry. Bullshit. We saw the ships last week. They don't even have the capacity to do any of that whatsoever, but don't worry about it. Don't think, just consume. Isildur goes out onto the deck, and Galadriel tells him how much better her eyesight is than his. Because that's Galadriel in a nutshell. All she does is demean people, belittle people, tell people how much better she is at stuff than they are, and is a miserable... You get the drift. You get the drift. And she says, oh, have you come to see whatever, the land? And he talks about, oh, I just wanted to get away from Numenor because it's like totally becoming like a red state. And I'm just like, I'm like a Biden guy. And like Numenor's like Trump and stuff. So I'm like, oh my God, I just gotta get out of there. I gotta go to the land of milk and honey, San Francisco. You know, where the shit lines the street. Just there's no masculinity in this show. There's no male energy at all. No, what's Muriel doing? Nothing. She's pointing at a map. Congratulations, you earn your paycheck. So, guess who's coming for second breakfast? Tells commander of the Southern Armies, Bronwyn, about the Sauron hilt, and he says, I've got to hide it. I've got to hide it somewhere. Now it's daytime because the orcs, by the way, decided that they weren't going to pursue, even though they just turned up for battle. They decided they weren't going to pursue the villagers who were just, 800 meters away or something. They were like, no, let's chill out. Let's relax. Let's just put some sheets, white sheets over our white skin. Because we are in an never mind. Let's try and get this video monetized. And so they give up. So the villagers are making weaponry to fight. So you're telling me you didn't have weapons to fight? So if the orcs decided, fuck it, there they are, let's charge them right now, they would have been like, oh crap, I'm just holding this lantern, giving my position away. My brain is hurting. Theo talks about how the talks about how the hilt made him feel like a man, and then guess who's coming for second breakfast said, "I'm sorry, dude, nobody's allowed to be a man in this show." Then his mum, who picks flowers for a living, tells her son, who could fight probably 5 times better than at this age already, tells him to look after the people in the inn when the fighting starts. And she's going to go, she's going to go and save guess who's coming for second breakfast. Because even he is not allowed to have his moment in this show. Every moment has to be stolen by a woman. Stolen valor. Because they can't create a natural environment for them to flourish in. Oh, this show is utter garbage. By the way, as you can see, time is being eaten up rapidly. Oh, guess who's going for second breakfast tells her about planting the seeds, and then he makes her touch wood. I said what I said. It's nighttime. Nobody can see shit. This is some of the worst visuals I've ever seen. To go alongside that episode of Game of Thrones. Can't see shit. Can't see shit. Can't see shit. Here come the orcs. Or so it seems. So they trap the inverted commas orcs. And then they start to rout them. And it's like, oh my God. But Don Lemonlass has a huge orc who doesn't have a weapon. Why doesn't he have a weapon? Because he probably would kill everyone there if he had a weapon. And Don Lemonlass couldn't do his boot, his, kicky and jumpy and stuff like that. And he couldn't get close to him to stab him in the eye with. Anyway, they fight, and then he's just about to kill. Guess who's coming for second breakfast? I don't even know his name still. And then his girl boss comes and saves him and stabs the orc in the back like every good woman should. And she's like, I saved you because I'm Bronwyn, commander of the Southern Armies, picker of flowers, heaver of bosom, fucker of guess who's coming for second breakfaster, abandoner of children. And then we're like, holy shit. You're giving Galadriel a run for her money right now. But then, guess who's coming for second breakfast in 11sies realizes that these people have red blood, not black blood. And that's because they put helmets on the villagers that gave themselves up last week. And so they've just killed the villagers. Suddenly, they get besieged by the orcs. And then we get to a really terrible moment where I think I've got it here. Let's just go back a couple of seconds. Oh, hold on. Oh, yeah. Hold on. We have Bronwyn. Let's just see this bit here. Boom, she gets hit by an arrow. Boom, she gets hit by a second arrow. She gets hit by 2 arrows. I've watched it over and over. I have watched this bit over and over. She gets hit by an arrow in what seems to be in the lower extremities, and then she gets hit by an arrow which comes just above her titty bag. They then drag her. Sorry, I want to be inclusive. They then drag her into the inn, and then they remove 1 arrow. 1. The other arrow they completely forgot about. And when I say they, I mean the writers completely forgot that she got shot by 2 arrows. So the orcs overrun the village in moments, because that's what happens when you have a fighting force up against a bunch of fucking feculent, stinking piss pots who were defending their village made of wood and thatch in a wide open area where they can be besieged in a 360-degree area, instead of defending a stone keep with a bridge which funnels people towards it. Yes, I'm destroying this monster ripper. Ridiculous. So they take 58 minutes to seal up Bronwyn's wounds. Oh no! Is she alive? Is she dead? I have an answer for you. I don't care. I don't care, because I don't care about any of these people at all, because you've made them all horrible, obnoxious, most part narcissistical, self-serving, boring people. There's nothing to like about them. But she's okay, because, you know, whatever. Then Adar is just like, where's me sword hilt? And then he starts killing people in the tavern. And then Theo is just like, it's here. And he gives it to Adar. I've got to pause for a bit now, because there is going to come a sequence of events here, which in zero reasonably sounding, reasonably thought out world could ever exist. We start to hear the rumble of hooves. By the way, it's pitch black outside, but it's nice, and there's daylight where the fake Rohirrim come charging over the hill. Look at that. Look at that. Blue sky, clouds. They've just put a filter on. That's all they got. They just got a filter. Just a filter. Okay. So they come charging over the hillside and start hacking the orcs to pieces. Easily. Adar bursts out with the sword hilt wrapped up, bursts out of the tavern, gets onto his horse, and starts to ride away. Because he needs this for something. We all know what it is. The two homosexual guys save one another, whatever. And then Isildur saves his dad because his dad's a shit fighter. And then guess who's coming for second breakfast says, oh my God, you're amazing. And she's like, I know, right? And she goes charging after Adar. They go into the woods. God, it sounded like Darmok now. They go into the woods. They ride in the woods. They ride over the plains. They ride into the valleys. And she's just about to catch up with Adar when Totes Not Sauron comes in from the opposite direction. How did Totes Not Sauron get in the opposite direction? Adar leaves and charges away. The fake Rohirrim come charging over. Galadriel goes in pursuit, but Totes Not Sauron, who was in the village when she left, teleports in front of Adar and knocks the legs out from under his horse's feet, and he drops the hilt, the sword hilt that's wrapped up and bound. As he tries to grab it. No, no, no. No Sauron Horde sword hilt for you, mister. No, no, no. So Halbrand is going to kill him, and Galadriel stops him by saying the most retarded thing in the world. She says, "You can't quench your thirst by drinking seawater." As in, you can't get vengeance by killing him, when she's been on a hundreds of years fucking vengeance ridden fucking fuck. She's such a hypocrite. This is why she's so unlikable, because she doesn't hold anyone, she doesn't hold herself to any of the standards of moral of moral grandstanding that she does with everyone else. Vengeance, killing him won't give you fuck off, bitch. Fucking cow. So they get Adar, they bring him back. A bunch of homosexuals just talk to each other. The director went, "Hey, if we do a Dutch angle, will that make the show look any better?" And no, it won't. But good try. So Galadriel and Adar exchange pleasantries, and he talks about how he killed Sauron, which obviously he doesn't because it's Halbrand. And he also talks about how when Morgoth was defeated, Sauron actually dedicated his life to healing Middle-earth. But of course, it's from a different perspective, because Sauron doesn't want to destroy Middle-earth. He wants to unite it under, him, essentially. So that could be classed as their healing. And then Galadriel gets so wound up that she wants to kill him. And then Halbrand has to stop her from killing him. So, have you heard this before? We might have given this all away. So anyway, they leave him as they all celebrate. Oh my God. Sorry, I slapped my desk so much that it brought up my F12. So Halbrand is sat there and he says, when I was riding into battle, I felt you. Oh, I felt you, Galadriel. I felt you. And she said, I felt the same. When she was bouncing up and down on a saddle and her clit was hitting that spot. Oh my God. Halbrand. Galadriel. I'm shipping them. Oh my God. So then we get Miriel telling Bronwyn that she's amazing. Miriel, who did fucking nothing, and Bronwyn going, "Oh my God!" And then she's like, "Here, look, I brought a man to you. He's going to be your king, but he's not really, because you're like totes amazing." Then Theo opens up the hilt, the sword hilt. Oh wait, and it's not a sword hilt. It was an axe, because the real sword hilt had been given to this piss-stinking dickhead from last week, and he's now using it to act as a literal key. I have a question. When the fuck did Adar manage to wrap up a decoy sword hilt? Oh, yes, he didn't. But don't think about it. Don't think about it. But what if he did it when he was in the tavern? What, where all the villagers were and then could see? How did he get the exact cloth? How did he get the same binding? So the dude puts the sword hilt, which is a literal key, and then it destroys the massive reservoir at the top. And then that massive reservoir, that huge amount of water, just gets funneled into the small, tiny tunnels that the orcs dug. Okay. And then that water is funneled down into the earth. And instead of just literally evaporating in the heat, causing steam, it lands in the lava, and the lava just explodes. Boom! Boom! Because that's how that works. The tunnels are tiny. Just holy shit! I'm glad nobody pissed down there. Holy crap! They could have just set up a megaton nuclear whatever. So Mount Doom. It's going to be Mount Doom. Let's be honest. Erupts. Pachoo! Pachoo! And the villagers run, but not Galadriel. No. She has the blankest, dumbest expression on her face, and she just lets the wave of molten lava and ash in a huge force coming towards her, force enough to tear these buildings apart. She just lets it hit her. Because she's like, Galadriel, motherfucker. The Battle of Balls Deep was as limp as it could be. Terrible visuals. It was a group of people fighting in a hamlet. Two episodes to go. And by the way, folks, that's it. All the battles are fought. That's it. They're done. Now it's just talky for 2 episodes. Until Halbrand goes, I'm totes not Sauron. Deuces. Yeah, this show is abysmal. This episode I will give Again, it's so boring. They made a fight, a war. It wasn't even a war. It was a skirmish at best. Boring. Adar posed zero threat. There were never any stakes. You never felt... Oh, by the way, one guy Galadriel's running around in the village on a horsey, fucking coming like a fucking steam train because she keeps fucking hitting her clit on the saddle. She keeps doing these matrix moves, but she does them before they've even thrown the arrows or shot the spears and shot the arrows. So she literally gets into position, then they throw it, so it misses her. Oh my god! Wow. Oh, fuck this show. It gets 3 out of 10. If a fight can bore you so much, you don't deserve any points other than the 3 that I gave. Purely for a couple of nice CG. Fuck it. Fuck this show. Fuck it all. Fuck it. -58. I'll give it a -58. See you in the next video. Bye for now.